back to Selena's table and our little Aussie homestead. Today we're going to head out into our garden and we have some potatoes to harvest. I'm not sure what else we might have out there. I know we have to pull the beans out because they are done. The peas need to come out, they are done, and we need to make room for some spring planting. So let's get some baskets and I hope we get to fill some. Big one, and I'll get some gloves. Let's go. I was out here the other day and I planted that garden up, but let's have a look at what we've got out here today and then we will get into it. This is the garden we planted up the other day and it looks like some of my babies are a little sunburnt. So this is tomato and basil. These are my, let me think, I think they're mortgage lifter tomatoes from memory. Strawberries, I actually have a couple of strawberry runners that I pulled off here that I have had inside growing roots and they are ready to go in, but I'm actually thinking I might plant them with my asparagus. The herb bed and sweet potato. We pulled a sweet potato out this week and had it for dinner. That one. Lettuce has bolted, coriander has bolted. This is my tomato vine that just doesn't die. And we get tomatoes off this all year round. Cauliflower that's actually got some heads, so I've wrapped them up in mosquito netting because the bugs that we get here are insane. They will annihilate my entire garden. So anything precious, like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, they really need to be netted. Here you can see we've started to lose some because I just didn't have enough nets. I do have a whole cabbage bed here and they are wrapped. So hopefully we get this cabbage even if we lose that cabbage. We're going to have a look in here today to see how many pumpkins we have. I know we have this one that we saw on our beetroot harvest video and that one is nearly ready. These are the peas that we need to pull out. We do still have some growing, but most of it is gone. If you're wondering what this is, we put these on our garden beds and you can see them, they're white over there. We put shade cloth over that in the summer because it just gets so hot out here. And the other one we need to pull are the beans. They're looking sad. We didn't get enough beans to actually cook with this year, but we did definitely get a lot of snacking done. Oh my gosh. If you haven't grown your own vegetables, even beans, you really need to. They taste incredible. And you can grow beans, just a bush variety, in a pot plant, on a veranda, on a balcony, in a unit. But if you have space, I would build a garden. And it doesn't need to be fancy. This isn't. And we get a lot of really good veggies. This sun's going to be in my eyes, but that's okay. This here, this is the potatoes we're going to dig up today. We have other potatoes right back there, and in this silver bin here, I just planted recently some Sourdough potatoes. They will be ages, they haven't even come up. These ones are going yellow and brown, they're done. And the ones in the very back there, in the barrel, they've still got a little while. Last night, I actually dug this here to get potatoes for dinner. But I want to pull all these out, even though some are still a little bit green. I want to pull these out because I need this bed to start being renewed and ready for our spring summer garden. It's only a skinny, I think it's 600 mil deep, and it is, let me think, it's not 2.4, it might be 1.8 long. We also have passion fruit that we will harvest today. These are yellow passion fruit and they are divine. So I'm growing my passion fruit all along this fence. My zucchini are sad. That's radishes there. Some small cabbage in here. Some more peas. Carrots. This was garlic. I harvested the garlic the other day. I'll show you that. It's currently drying. And I've just put some bush beans in here. And we've had a couple come up. Over here, these are our other potatoes. This one and this one. And they are not ready yet. Our onions are still growing strong. And we have some capsicum to pick. There's some red down there. I'll have to check what that is. This is where our beetroot was. If you saw my beetroot harvest video, this was where they were. This has been replanted. So I just topped it up with some fresh compost. And then I gave it some blood and bone, blood meal, before planting my seeds. And I will, as the weather warms, I will put more sugarcane down. So in here, these are little baby boo baby boo pumpkins, marigolds. These are tomatoes, Roma tomatoes. And then there's some little tiny basil. And that's more tomatoes and then more marigolds over there. And look at this, what is this in here? All right. The fun thing about potatoes, it's like treasure hunting. I did plant peas in here as well, just for the purpose of adding nutrients to the soil. So they'll just come out as well today. Festy. So these potatoes were all grown from seed. They were actually seed that we'd saved from last year's potatoes. We did not do very well last year. But we had enough little teeny tiny ones, little pea size, and we've planted them. So one was purple and one was white. worms that are growing in here. I do find every time I grow potatoes, the worm activity really increases. I don't know why. That was one of the seed potatoes. So that's what grew the plant, and then the plant puts out little tubers on the bottom of its roots. So I'll just toss that. Got a lot of purple ones. I don't find many come out when I pull it. I have to dig. That's going to the chickens. That's the seed again. You can tell because they go gross like that. Ugh. You can hear my chickens in the background. Someone must be laying an egg. These are all great sized potatoes. Last year, I didn't get many that were much bigger than that, to be honest. So I am really happy with how big these are. Here's a little one. So one of the reasons I wanted to dig these up today was because I haven't been watering them. It feels like a seed, but I haven't been watering these. I stopped watering them when they started dying, and I feel like we might be getting rain, so I'm hoping, we are hoping and praying we're getting rain. It's a little bit overcast out there today. You don't want to dig the potatoes up when it's raining or being wet. It's much easier when the soil is dry, like this. They don't seem to have gone down very far. Here's a little guy. Oh, tiny. That's a volunteer nasturtium that grew itself. He's going to come out too. Now we'll pull out these peas. There's still a couple in here. But for the most part it's done. So I want to pull it out so I can get something else planted here. I'm not sure. Sometimes it matters what you plant after certain plants. So I will double check. But I'm thinking I could plant some of my pole beans because they did really well here last summer. Our red, I think they're golden wax pole beans. So I'm thinking I might put them here because we've got this Rio Arbor thing going over this garden. So I'm going to pull some of these out. And all this will either end up in one of my worm pod farms or it will end up in the compost bin, which is behind me, over there. And I might get my basket in case I do find a selection. They got missed. They'll be too young to be seed, but they're probably too old to eat. We'll see. Too old. Not very nice. So one thing I still haven't worked out, and I'm working through, is how many seeds to plant for our family. This is my second or third year in this garden. We've had gardens all over our property and nothing has worked. Lack of water, poor dirt, all sorts of things. So we ended up doing these raised beds 2 years ago maybe, or last year, I don't even remember. And this is working. And a thing I'm doing different here than when I had them elsewhere on our property is that I am submerging worm farms inside my garden. Like each bed has a little mini worm farm. And we are finding that it is making all the difference. However, I still don't know how many seeds I need to eat fresh, to have enough to preserve, and also to make things like, to preserve as in to preserve whole product, but also I want enough to make things like salsas and sauces and things like that and have those preserved. So in the past I might plant 4 beetroot seeds, 2 pea seeds, you know, really, really minimum amounts, and then wonder why we don't have a crop. I'm doing better. I've got a lot more planted. However, I think I might need to plant the whole packet every season. I don't know. If you know how many seeds you need to plant, because I don't buy little seedlings, I plant from seed. If you know how many seeds we need for an average family sort of deal, as in to eat fresh, to preserve, to make extra things like sauces, feel free to let me know, because I'm still working it out. And what I have found is this one's gone to seed. So it's brown for a start, and it should be, the seeds inside, yes they do, they look like what comes out of a packet. A little dehydrated ball. So I'm going to keep those 4, there's 4 in there, and I'm going to try plant them next year. But I think I planted about, this is the only snow peas and pea, I just threw all the peas together, I have no idea which was which. I think I did telegraph peas, sugar snap peas and snow peas all at the same time, all in this one spot. And I think I did about 12 seeds in one row. And we did not get much. We got enough to come out here every afternoon. The kids, my husband and I would come out and we'd have snacks, 1 or 2 little pea pods each, but certainly not enough to come inside, certainly not enough to add to dinner. I have planted some more over there that I showed you earlier, but again I just put a couple in, and that's really just for the kids to have something to snack on. Every afternoon when they come out here and help mum in the garden, they have a little wander, have a little harvest of their peas, and that's fine. I do want to grow enough for our family though to put up, to have fresh. I wouldn't mind canning beans, like fresh green beans. I can dried beans all the time, and I actually can link a video if you're interested in canning dried beans. But yeah, I haven't even, I think, come close to scratching the surface as to how many beans and peas we might need to grow in order to do all the things I'd like to do. See if I can leave this one green one here. If I can figure out what he is attached to. No, that's not going to happen. So, like I said, nothing's pretty, and it's just recycled material that we had lying around, old star pickets, some wire we picked up at the tip shop. This is a bit of Rio concrete mesh that my husband had lying around, and we just have made it work. Now these are our cauliflower that never gave us heads. Nothing. So I'm still considering whether they are staying or going. These little yellow ones are my pineapple chilies. And they're hot. And let them get some more colour. These were all planted last spring. Again, everything from seed. And there's a whole bunch of different chili varieties. I know I have jalapeno, the pineapple chili, which I think is just because it's yellow. Some padron chili, an ancho chili, cayenne chili, which are also hot. Because we just don't eat that much chili. And in the pots, that one died. But this one's alive and flowering. So we're going to get more. And this is dill. This dill was planted back in spring last year, and it is coming up everywhere. We've been eating those leeks as we want. That kohlrabi that featured in the beetroot video, we've eaten a few of them. So what I've done is we eat just this bulb part, but we peel it and we just cut the leaves off, cut the skin off and the root, and I baked it last night and it actually just tastes like cauliflower. Looks like potato, tastes like cauliflower. Really nice. These leeks are just about ready to be picked. And that celery, I'm thinking I'm going to take most of that out. It's starting to get, I don't know how long you're meant to keep celery for in the ground. I know how to use celery, but it's sort of, I don't know if you can see that, it's hollow. It's like hollow on the inside. It's not juicy and moist like celery I think should be. So I'm thinking I might take it out and dehydrate the leaves and turn them into some celery powder, which I can then add to things. I can add to salt and make celery salt, which is a seasoning that I use in my all-purpose seasoning. These are little capsicums. They're meant to be like this. They're a small sweet capsicum. I'm pretty sure this is the Pedro chili, or however you say that. They're sweet, they're mild, they're not hot. We just use these little capsicums as we would a regular size capsicum. And the fact that we're growing any is very exciting to me. I'm going to grab that big guy. I actually have 3 kilos of carrots that I pulled from one of the beds up there the other day so that I could replant it. And they were getting a bit old in the ground. They weren't big, they're little, but they're delicious. They're all rainbow carrots. This bed here that I'm in front of now, these are orange carrots. I'm not sure what variety. Yeah, and so these are staying in the ground, but I want to see if we have any to snack on. So they're still small, but they do taste yummy. Now, yes, this is tiny, but we are not getting anything bigger. And this is a sprouting broccoli that I planted. And they've all been eaten as snacks, except for one night we did have enough for a serve each. My onions are supposed to be ready. Onions should be ready going by the date I wrote in my diary, which I have found is a new great thing to do. They should be ready first week of October. So, this one's getting nice and big. Now, we've not grown onion before this year. And again, probably didn't grow enough. And I'm just doing this now to encourage that to bulb up. I didn't do it to the little harvest of red onions I got a few weeks ago, and yeah, they're not bulby at all. So my onions are a mixture of a brown, a white and a red onion, and a few different varieties in there. And I'm finding that not many of the white ones actually came up from the seed. Lots of the brown ones did, but the white one that did come up, they're bigger. So I'm excited to see how they taste. Going to pull a leek for dinner. All these leeks were planted at different times, so the growth rate is staggered, and that was intentional so that we wouldn't have a lot of leeks all at once. And I was hoping to have sort of a year's worth of gradual harvesting, because the bed there with all the chilies just here, they're all leeks in there next to the chilies. So I'm hoping, and some are bigger than others, and there's some little tiny ones on the other side just there. I'm hoping we can get a year's worth, or close to a year's worth, of the amount that we might want to eat. So he's short. He's a shorty. But we'll use most of the greens as well and give him a good wash. Let's have a look at our pumpkin. So these pumpkins stay green. This is what's called a Jap pumpkin. Jap stands for just a pumpkin. I think someone said it was Japanese, I'm not sure. Very, very good eating. But yes, they stay green. Sometimes they'll go slightly creamy colour, as you can see is happening here. But these are not an orange pumpkin at all. So how do I know when he's ready is I'm going to find the first tendril, which if I follow the stalk, the first tendril, despite all this grass, is there. When that is dried up and brown, that's when I know I can harvest him. This one's not quite ready, and I know that this is my oldest one in this little pumpkin patch, so if he's not ready, the others won't be ready, but I need to find the others. So let's go on a pumpkin search. This was never meant to get like it has, but as soon as I've had my fill of pumpkin from here, I'm going to plant pumpkin elsewhere on the property, probably near the chicken coop, and then I can take this out. One there. He's a lot smaller. And his tendril, this is his tendril here. So it's definitely got a ways to go. There looks like there'll be another one there if some little bees decide to pollinate that. I could hand pollinate it, but I'm not going to, because if this dies, I can pull it out and use my garden bed again. But I'm not going to kill it. I'm just not going to hand pollinate any. Here's another flower. Alright, what have we got? Oh my goodness. It's not dead. It's just a funny shape. This tendril's not as healthy though. So we'll see how that goes. That turns into anything we can actually use. Now, being careful not to step on any snakes. This is Queensland, and it doesn't matter if it's winter. We are going looking for pumpkins. So when spring actually gets here, even though it's now hot, oh, there we go, here's one. And his tendril is that one. So that's got a long way yet too. In spring, oh, what's that? Another one! Oh my goodness! He's just hanging there. Oh, and you dirty locust. Well, you're going to the chickens. I'm going to catch him. As I was saying, in spring, I'll wrap my fruit, my melons, and my pumpkins in netting because we have the Queensland fruit fly that likes to kill everything by laying maggots in your fruit. There's another one up there hanging, suspended on a bit of Rio. Oh my goodness. Let's see if I can catch this dirty locust. Oh, he's gone. There's that one that's hanging, sitting on that little bit of Rio. I don't do anything here. I don't water this. I don't fertilize this. The soil is probably not even healthy, but it's growing a pumpkin. So what I want to show you now is the extension that we are building of our vegetable garden. As you can see, we currently have 2 of these really long ones, and then we have 2 shorter ones over there, and then we have behind me, as we go back past the house, we have all of the birdies galvanized steel beds. So I don't think this is enough. I needed more. Of course, you can always grow in a small space, but once I really enjoy doing something, you know, it's all or nothing. So we are expanding, and we need to fence it off still yet because we have kangaroos that will come in and they will eat everything. But let me show you progress so far. I'm very excited. So this makeshift fence here will go. This will not be here anymore. And that is a Cavendish banana right there. And I think we bought a dwarf, which I really wanted something larger. So imagine this fence is gone. This is a new fence post. There is a farm fence post there. That is our orchard, which I will show another day. We're going to do some work to get that looking much healthier. This is a garden bed that we've just laid some shade cloth over to keep the kangaroos out of it because it is ready to be planted. And as soon as we get this area fenced off, I'll start working out here. This is the second garden bed, which we've just been collecting cardboard for, so that we can kill the grass underneath and start topping. I'm going to show you a video on how we built our garden beds. Just a quick one. Over here, we will have the blue just marks out a rough area. And this will be our fence. So coming from the other direction, this will be our new fenced area. And all in here, down to those posts, will be the next stage of our garden. So this area behind me, I'm thinking I should be able to get at least 2 more like this bed, going up the hill. Yes, we are going up a hill. Our whole property is a hill. I've already used the flat space, so now I'm up to using the hill. So I'm thinking 2 more behind, and these will probably be staggered. They won't be neat and tidy and in rows, no doubt, because that's just the way I roll. And then I'm thinking maybe a couple of shorter ones in this space here before we get to the edge of the fence line. Thank you for hanging out with me in the garden today. I decided to leave the beans for another day simply because we were still snacking on them and there's still quite a few in there. So even though the plant looks dead, I'm going to leave it, hoping that some of those bush beans I'd planted down further will be coming up quicker soon as the weather warms up. Yeah, but we got a nice half basket of random chilies and capsicum that we'll use in cooking. We got a couple of little baby broccoli, and we got some peas, not many, and I actually found a few more of the dried pea pods, so I'm going to set them aside and keep them for planting next autumn. We got a little harvest of potatoes, which I am just so thrilled about because potatoes are so fun to harvest. They taste amazing. They're so much nicer than the store-bought ones, probably because they're just eaten fresher. This is an organic garden. I don't use any sprays, so my pest control has to come from companion planting and from spraying concoctions that are like just garlic and chili oil and things like that. I haven't had much success with that though, so I have resorted to netting most of my produce in the hopes that we don't lose too much. I'm also hoping to plant more, especially with the garden expansion. That's one of the reasons we're doing it, is so that we can plant hopefully almost packets and packets at a time. Maybe we can share some more with the wildlife in that way, and that we'll still get plenty for us to eat and preserve. And we do share with friends and family as well, so it's not just our family eating all this. We do give a lot away. I am thrilled to have this little mini harvest today. I'm so excited that you came along and shared the harvest with me. If you liked this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, consider subscribing. I do have more garden videos coming. I also love to cook in the kitchen, where I will use some of this produce, and you'll see some other things that I've been making. And I hope that you have enjoyed spending time with me today. I have enjoyed having you here, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you. Bye.